Hello, everybody.
Hello.
It's me, Will.
And it's me, Kristen.
And we're back. We're doing another live episode of Guide to the Unknown.
That's right.
Coming right at you.
How you doing out there in Radio Land?
Look out.
In Video Land.
Here comes a party.
Here are the kids.
Who's ready to have a good time? Who's ready to laugh?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to know.
I can't believe that we're almost at the end of October.
I can't. Yeah, actually, that's true.
Very,
I was just
very
gonna
weird.
I was just gonna vamp and vibe off of what you were saying, but you're right.
Yeah.
I kind of can't believe we're at the end of October.
Yeah, it's nutty.
Yeah. Hey, Tabitha.
Hey, guys.
AKB.
Hello, hello.
Yeah. Everybody, type a 1 in the chat if you're ready to laugh. Okay.
Oh,
Type a 1 in the chat if you're ready to laugh. Hey, Tina. Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Jack
Hi, Tina.
O'Lanterns.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Drew.
Hey, Drew.
What's happening, everybody?
Hey,
How
everybody.
are we all doing? How are we all feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Tabitha's ready to
all
laugh.
right.
KB is ready to laugh. Mom is ready to laugh. Hey, Stephanie.
Good to hear. Hi, Stephanie.
We're doing 1s in the chat if you're ready to laugh. Stephanie. Everyone's ready to laugh.
Look at
Hey,
this
Megan.
engagement.
What's
Hi,
going
Megan.
on? I hope you're all having a good day so far.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to talk to you about a few things on
Hey, Michelle.
this episode here.
Me too. We're just going to share the show. If you would like to do the same thing, that'd be awesome. If you can share the link to this live, then people can come in, hang out, chat with you guys while we're chatting with each other.
Yeah.
By all means.
We're going to share this in a few
one,
places,
one.
then we're going to get started as always. We'd really appreciate it if you would all share the link, maybe get a bunch of people in here, have a good time.
Yeah. Mom, do you notice? Luminara. Yep.
Oh,
Mom
nice.
said your candle.
Hell yeah.
Our mom got me a set of these QVC Luminara candles as an early birthday present because she saw them as a today's special value, told me about them. I thought they seemed awesome, and they are awesome. And so I brought one to be on our set.
Perfect.
Which was Mom's idea, I think.
Thank you very much, Mom.
Thank you,
Love
Mom.
love a good candle vibe for spooky stuff.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Absolutely. All right.
All right. Here we go.
Okay. Hey guys, we're going live on youtube.com/talkbomb right now to record this week's episode of Guide to the Unknown live.
She's lying to you. Don't come to youtube.com/talkbomb. It's a trap!
I don't know. Come see for yourself. Who do you believe? Okay.
That's some good reverse psychology. I don't even want you to come
Yeah.
here. I don't even want you to watch the
Forget
live
it.
show that we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Whatever.
Doesn't hurt me. KB asks if we're summoning demons. The answer is always yes.
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
Answer
this
is-
just kind of helps, usher things along.
Always yes. Taylor says, sorry I'm a wee bit late. Baby brother is sick. I hope
sorry
he's all
to hear
right.
that.
Hope he gets better soon. Shared, and I ain't even scared.
Ooh.
I'm going to share it on @GTTUpod on Twitter and Facebook real quick.
Excellent.
What have you all been doing? You're all ready for Halloween? Do you have Halloween costumes in order and everything?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what are your Halloween plans?
What are you doing? What are you being? What are you being? What are you doing? KB's summoning Dear David more like it. Don't invoke the name.
Oh, God.
Who knows what could go wrong?
Yeah, let's hope not.
Who the hell knows?
Pain in the butt.
David is a pain in the butt. This ghost is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, he just keeps popping up. It's a pain in my butt.
Yeah. We're live on YouTube right now talking about spooky, scary
Oops.
Halloween
I'm
specials.
scared. I don't know about you, but I'm scared.
Paging Mr. Simpson.
Oh.
And I ain't talking OJ.
Oh, God. Scary in a different way.
I've had something that I've wanted you to talk to you about for truly like a month.
I know. You told me about this like a long time ago.
Okay. And I'm about set. Yeah, Taylor says no Halloween for her this year.
Okay.
Best friend's graduating Halloween morning. Brexit is scary enough. Oh, well,
Yeah, who needs it then?
yeah, can't argue with that.
Michelle, you're being Stay Puffed. Is it one of those machines or like a costume that has like a little fan in it that makes you all puffed up and everything?
I wonder if those are comfy.
Yeah, I think they are. Remember Ryan was Stay Puffed for
Oh, yeah,
Halloween
that's right.
like a couple of years ago, and he won a couple of costume contests.
Oh, he did?
So, yes.
That's awesome.
So you could enter yourself in a costume contest and maybe rake it in.
Hell yeah.
I think you got like a gift card or something.
I would love to. I'd love it if my clothes now just had a fan.
Yeah, me too.
Expanding them at all times. Can you imagine?
Yeah, they make, sorry to be crude, they make undies with some sort of like fart ventilation system. Seriously. They do. I'm telling you, they do. They're not even joke underwear. It's not a fan, but it's some sort of panel back there for your comfort and that of those around you.
I'm not comfortable at all.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with that even a little bit. KB says
Okay,
I always
yes,
wait till the last minute and then panic. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh, Taylor dressed up as Trump for Halloween 2016 using a mix of her sister's fake tan and orange face paint.
Chilling.
Yeah. Scariest costume of all time.
Yeah, for real. Okay.
Okay. All right. I think I'm set if you are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
All right, cool. Why don't you start?
Okay.
You'll do your thing first.
Should we plug the live show?
Yep.
At the beginning?
Yep.
Okay.
Live show.
This is really the last chance.
Mm-hmm. Live show. Quick mention of our socials.
Oh, at the beginning?
Yeah. If you'll watch the live, they've seen us have this interaction like multiple times.
What are you talking about?
I'll be like, okay, we'll say our socials. And you're like, oh.
Is that true?
Yes.
When do we ever talk about our social media
Just
at the
follow
top
us
of the
at
show?
Yeah, we do. Well, we forgot to last time, but want to plug things early. Patreon, quick mention. Social, quick mention. The live show now, quick mention. Then go into the thing, mention them again at the end.
Listen, you're the boss, man. All right, everybody. We're going to start the show. Last call, we would really appreciate it if you would all share the links.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about scary episodes of TV shows,
Yeah,
which
like
I think will be a lot of fun.
TV specials.
And I think it's something that pretty much anybody could get into.
Yeah.
A little party time.
Very accessible.
Halloween hangout.
That's right.
This movie looks cool on camera.
Oh, it looks great.
I think Adam Sandler does this. Doesn't he?
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah, he'd be like, ooh-dee.
Come to the back of the boat.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right. Oh, you know what? Let me grab my water real quick.
Okay. Go for it. Do your thing.
Agua de Willy.
Yes, we are talking about House of Horror episodes. You nailed it, Taylor.
Hell yeah.
Yes, we are.
You bet. And beyond.
Yes.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I'm set if you are.
Yep, I'm ready. Hello, welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
And I'm her brother, William.
And tonight we're going to be talking about Halloween TV specials or special Halloween episodes of existing TV shows.
It's the most wonderful time of the year when all of the TV shows that you love and watch all of a sudden put out an episode where everyone's dressed up in spooky costumes. Scary stuff sometimes happens.
Right.
Quite frankly, I wish that it was a full takeover of television, that there would be Halloweenized versions of the news.
I would love that. Yeah, people on the news don't get into it, right? Because they
Right.
have to be kind of serious and they're delivering stuff that's heavy, so they probably don't want to trivialize it.
Yeah.
But like if The Beautiful Man on ABC.
Oh my
remember
God.
That guy?
Yeah, I forgot about The Beautiful Man.
Yeah, oh man, I can't remember what his name is. There's a reporter on ABC who always used to come on right after Lost.
He's got sparkling blue eyes.
Crystal blue eyes. And Will and I referred to him as the Beautiful Man.
Yes.
So if the Beautiful Man was wearing like cat ears when he's talking about a horrible murder,
Right.
that's maybe not the jam.
Maybe not, but I would like it.
I would love it. I know.
I will say that when Stephen Colbert's Late Show, when he took over for David Letterman, first started, I kept trying to get tickets, finally got them for his first Halloween episode, deliberately got Halloween tickets.
Yeah.
We went. Stevie Colbert dressed up as a vampire. And he had like a full, like, like a fancy vampire. So he was kind of dressed like a pirate in a weird way. He had like a cravat.
Flouncy. Cravat.
Yeah, flouncy indeed.
Yeah.
And he had the teeth in, and it was making him lisp and stuff like that. And every guest came out wearing costumes.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I was so excited. A band called Ghost played. They're like a heavy metal.
That's right. You really got like a good spooky episode.
I got the best stuff. And guess what? They don't do that anymore. That was
really?
the one time that show did a Halloween version, and I got to be there. I'm in the audience. If you freeze frame it, I actually think for when they broadcast it at home, it's like notoriously hard to find people in the audience when they go to live tapings. But for that episode, if you freeze frame whenever they show the audience, whoever works at Colbert actually photoshopped my head on every person in the audience.
So it's really easy to spot
It's
you.
really easy. I'm everyone in the room.
Perfect. Also spooky.
Incredibly terrifying.
So perfectly in theme.
Absolutely. All right, before we dive into the full specials that we're going to talk about on this episode, we want to remind you all of a few awesome things. First of all, this is the last time that we can remind you out there that Kristen and I are going to be doing a live show in Highland Park, New Jersey this Sunday, October 27th, 6 p.m. We are going to be at Pino's in Highland Park talking about some haunted areas that are around us here.
Yes.
Kristen and I have on the sly been going out into the world and filming at scary places. And we're really excited to tell you about those scary places and show you the experiences we had there. We did bring our ghost hunting equipment.
Yes. So we have some visuals to throw to. We have some unusual findings that I'm not sure how to explain.
Correct.
And we're super looking forward to it. So
Tickles are free at the live show, but we're not allowed to do them.
Right, Ellie. So don't ask.
Yeah, so don't ask for tickles, but tickets are available if you Google Guide to the Unknown Eventbrite.
That's right. They're $10 each, and we would love to see you there. So please, if you're listening to this, you only have a couple more days. Go find those tickets, buy them, and join us. We'd love to meet you guys and have a fun hangout.
A bunch of you already have. We want even more people to show up. It's really going to be a lot of fun, and we don't want to be embarrassed.
Yes, please don't humiliate us.
Yes, and as always, please make sure you follow at GTTU Pod across all social media to stay up to date with stuff that we're doing, with stuff that Kristen finds throughout the week in the world of spooky stuff.
Yep.
And if you want, also consider hitting up patreon.com/GTTU Pod while we're talking right now.
Yeah.
May as well sign up to become another World Warrior and get access to some of the bonus stuff that we've got for our supporters.
Yes. All right.
All right.
Willie.
Yes.
Let's talk some Halloween specials.
Yes, please.
Hit me.
Okay, I'm going to start by talking to you about the quintessential Halloween special that I think everybody knows.
Yeah.
You're bored by it. Your grandparents love it. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Okay.
I
thought you were about to talk about Treehouse of Horrors.
Oh, I'm saving that for the
you're
last.
Right. I guess you're right. I guess that is pretty quintessential.
I'm saving the symptoms for symptoms.
Yeah. What's wrong with
I
us?
got some symptoms from The Simpsons.
Tickles and symptoms.
We got tickles and symptoms this week. But The Simpsons, quite frankly, did something to me that I did not expect.
Cry.
No.
Okay.
Nausea.
Oh.
And I cannot wait to tell you about it.
Okay.
But I'm going to wait to tell you about it because instead I'm going to talk about the boredom
Yes.
that I sustain anytime I think of Charlie Brown.
Me too.
Okay.
William, before researching this, did you know the plot of It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown?
Absolutely not.
I couldn't tell you what that's about.
No, and I guarantee you I've seen it before.
I'm sure I have, but I
guarantee
seriously, I have no idea what happens in this.
Now, Kristen and I sort of talked about this privately in our lives over the past couple of days because It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown was on television. I said to Kristen, maybe we should watch this or talk about it or something. I nominated myself to do it.
Yep.
And I didn't watch it.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, I didn't watch it.
Fair enough.
I don't have time for sad cartoons where all they do is play classical music. Yeah. It feels like it's supposed to make you go to sleep.
Yeah, it's so weird. The only Charlie Brown thing I ever remember enjoying is that we had Charlie Brown Goes
Race for Your
Camping.
Life, Charlie Brown or something.
Yeah, on Laserdisc.
Right.
And that was kind of fun. They went camping and they went whitewater rafting and Peppermint
Something
Patty
scary
was
happened in
being
that, too.
bossy or something.
Didn't Charlie Brown go missing while he was whitewater rafting or something?
I don't remember.
I remember there
seriously
being
don't.
something scary on that camping trip
Maybe that's why we kind of liked it.
for old Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of this stuff just makes me feel really uncomfortable and bored.
It's just boring
The
to me.
Peanuts.
Yeah.
But it aired October 27th, 1966. Here are some things that happen in it.
Okay.
Some of which, spoiler alert, when I read them, made me laugh.
Okay. That's good.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
My expectations couldn't have been lower.
Okay,
So
so
that
it could-
certainly helps.
Yeah. Only go up.
Lucy makes Linus drag a giant pumpkin home.
Okay.
He's annoyed when he finds out that she intends to carve it into a jack-o'-lantern. You see, Linus is obsessed with the Great Pumpkin, who he writes a letter to every single year so that the Great Pumpkin will appear.
Okay. So, I mean,
front of him?
Santa-esque.
Santa-esque, but on Halloween.
Right.
Lucy, this is literally what it said on Wikipedia. Lucy entices Charlie Brown to kick a football with the usual results.
Oh, wow. Wikipedia is really making sure that they hit all the beats.
A little character from this Wikipedia writer.
Yeah.
With the expected results.
As you would think.
Yeah. Charlie Brown, unexpectedly, gets an invitation to go to a cool kids Halloween party. Kind of nobody can believe it. Charlie Brown, you blockhead, why would you be going to the cool Halloween party?
I never think of them as having like cliques in Charlie Brown. I'm kind of surprised to hear that
There
Yeah.
are cool kids.
They're kind of all misfits.
Right.
They're all supposed to
I feel
be
like they're all friends.
commingling. But before the party, they all go trick-or-treating. Charlie Brown keeps getting rocks. Which I think is funny.
That's funny.
It actually made me laugh.
He keeps getting rocks.
And I kind of can picture him going, I got a rock. Just, everybody,
He's handing him rocks.
the world is crapping on Charlie
the world
Brown.
is handing Charlie Brown rocks.
Everybody, the adults who we never see and who speak through horns or whatever,
Yeah, it's like wah, 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 wah.
even
wah,
they
wah.
see Charlie Brown coming and they're like, I'm going to get
Yeah,
this
why does
kid.
everybody hate him so much?
I'm going to get this mopey little turd.
it is mopey.
You're going down, Charlie Brown. That's a good name.
Yeah, you're going down Charlie Brown.
You're going down, Charlie Brown.
Do you remember when I think Carson Daly dressed up as Charlie Brown for Halloween? And it's like horrific looking.
Yeah, the entire cast of the Today Show
Yes.
dressed up like Peanuts characters, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's
I really
disturbing.
encourage all of you at home to look that up.
Absolutely. Everyone Google Today Show Charlie Brown
Chilling.
costumes. Nightmare. So anyway, Linus hangs out in a pumpkin patch all night. It's almost a faith story. Everybody's like, Linus, you're being a little baby. Why would the great pumpkin appear? He's not real.
Yeah.
It's like, he is real. He convinces that little girl with blonde hair, Sally,
Yep.
to hang out with him there, which is nice.
Do you know that Fergie was the voice of Sally? Like the singer Fergie?
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
When
very
she was a
weird.
kid, yeah.
Wow. Back when it was normal to pee your pants.
Look, she was working hard.
Or hardly working.
Yeah, well, hardly working to hold it in.
So Charlie Brown, who thought he was finally cool, going to the cool kids party, finds out he was only invited because his head is perfectly round and they want to use him to sketch the patterns for their jack-o'-lanterns,
Oh my God.
which is sad.
That's kind of funny though.
It ends with the great pumpkin not showing up.
Okay.
Linus's older sister realizes that he fell asleep in the pumpkin patch and is freezing to death, so she takes him home and puts him to bed. And he
Okay.
insists that the great pumpkin is real and he'll find him one day. And it basically ends there.
Yeah. Okay.
There's like not really a culmination. I guess it's like maybe a sweet story about
friends.
faith or friends.
All right.
Whatever. Either way, I bet there were plenty of scenes where there's just light piano music
There
as Charlie
definitely
Brown
were.
walks down the street.
Yes,
for
for sure
5
there
minutes.
were. Except it's pumpkin-y this time. There are pumpkins on stairs.
Better
That's
than
the difference.
right. And you know what? Quite frankly, that's better than a regular
Yeah,
Peanuts thing
that's
to me.
that's still an improvement.
Put a pumpkin on a stair, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm happier.
Yeah, happier is right.
Yeah.
Yes. But there you go. That's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I don't really have much more
All right,
to say
great.
about that.
Honestly, talking about it bored me a little.
I couldn't agree more. It's really on this list because it has to
I know,
be,
it's like
right?
a big deal.
It's
Yeah.
the kind of thing that if we don't talk about it, people go, you didn't talk about it.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
we did it.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it. We did our due diligence.
Yes.
All right. Get off our back.
That's right.
Leave us a 5-star review for doing the
Sweet.
bare minimum.
Yeah.
Give us a 5. I would
It's
love
a
a
bare
5-star
minimum.
review that says they give us the bare minimum in style.
Yeah. That's not the bare minimum. I guess it's the bare minimum coverage of the Great Pumpkin,
Correct.
Charlie Brown. If anything, that's above and beyond in general because you didn't want to cover it and yet you did.
You know what? You're right. I excelled by even bringing it up.
Yes, I wouldn't have done it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. Do you want me to continue with another one that I
Yeah.
actually do like, or do
Yes.
you want to
I
bounce
think
back
do
and
all
forth?
yours and I'll do all
Do
mine.
them all?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to save the Treehouse of Horror for last,
Okay,
unless you've
then we
really
can-
got a boffo.
No, not particularly.
Okay.
Yeah, we can bounce around then. Okay, so I watched 2 Buffy Halloween episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I hadn't watched Buffy in years, and I was surprised. So I've watched, I think, the whole series. I actually couldn't totally swear that I finished it, but I've watched most of Buffy. I remember watching it. I think I watched some of it when it was airing, and then I binged it when it was on Netflix, maybe even discs or something. And I was surprised at the feeling that hearing the theme song brought out in me. Because
Yeah.
if you would say to me, like, what do you think of, have you watched Buffy? What do you think of it? I'd be like, oh yeah, I watched Buffy. Like, Buffy's totally sweet. Hearing the theme song and seeing the little montage during the credits, I was like, oh my God, I know this song.
Yeah.
Like, I know these credits. I know her, like, end pose and these different things. I was like, Buffy's great.
It is great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while now,
Me
but
neither. I just haven't even thought about it in a while. And I was like, ooh, this is something I really like.
yeah, I think it's probably been like 6 or 7 years or something. I
I'm
remember
sure, same.
I had a bad cold, and I never take NyQuil or Sudafed or anything
Yeah.
ever. But somebody recommended that I do it. It had to be Allie who's going to recommend I take medicine.
Uh-huh.
But so I took a bunch of like NyQuil, and so I was like crazed and looping
But
out.
you took it, but you like stayed awake,
Yes, I stayed awake and I kept watching.
like Tiger Woods.
What?
Tiger Woods, so not exactly like Tiger Woods. When Tiger Woods' cheating scandals came out, one of the things that seemed to be a thread that a bunch of different mistresses noticed was he was into taking Ambien, but then staying awake through the Ambien because then you like trip.
Ooh.
I know.
I don't want to trip at all.
No, I know, but taking like
Yeah.
a nighttime thing and then staying awake reminds me of it.
Oof. Yeah, well, technically, I guess I was doing that.
Yeah.
And I was alternating Buffy Angel, because that's how they would air.
Right.
I wanted to have the
Yeah, I actually
experience.
remember you talking about this.
Yes. And so I was watching it, and I was on all this NyQuil and stuff. And I remember like looking through my phone, which was like next to the bed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was sweating and I couldn't sleep. And now I think of Buffy as both something I love,
But you
and
associate it with that.
it like makes me feel ill again. It makes
I
me
get that.
feel crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely understand that. I think I watched like part of the first season of Angel in general and didn't finish it. And I started to watch a Halloween episode of Angel for this. I ended up not covering it because I think that you need some time to sink into that world and get into that mode and everything.
It is different.
And I couldn't get into the mode. It was like, I think there was a guy named Lorne who's a demon guy who was maybe like a Hollywood agent.
Oh, no. He's a lounge singer. He's all green with
Yeah,
like orange
yes,
hair or something.
yeah.
He's a lounge singer.
Okay, he was booking things on the phone. I thought maybe he was like
Well,
booking.
He's in showbiz.
Right. So it was him, and we're following him, and I was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "You know what?
You're not wrong. I think maybe I thought I dreamt him.
No, he's real."
Yeah, no, that show is great, but you're right. It is.
Yeah,
It's pretty different.
I can see, like, I can get it. It's ridiculous and everything, but I get once you're in that world, you accept those things and
Yes.
you know this guy.
Yes.
Just coming into it cold because it was in like the 5th season, this Halloween episode. I was like, what is
What's
this?
happening?
And
Yeah.
like, it's not really my speed.
Was it the one where he turns into a puppet?
I don't know. I seriously watched like 5 minutes of it and I was like, you know what? I have a lot of other shows on my list. I think I'm going to leave this. I already
Fair
have 2
enough.
Buffys. I think I'm good.
Angel's great. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so I watched 2 Buffy Halloween episodes. The first one I'm going to talk about is Buffy season 2, episode 6, entitled Halloween, appropriately. So the owner of a costume shop casts a spell that makes everybody who bought a costume there turn into their costumes.
Yes.
It turns out that guy who owns the shop is named Ethan Rain.
Great name.
He's somebody who knew Giles back in the day. They were coming up in the occult world together.
Ripper.
Yep. He calls Giles the Ripper.
That's right. There was
He's
going
like,
to be
do they know, Ripper, about who you are?
for a long time. There were plans to do a spin-off with Giles called Ripper.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't because Giles is very standout.
The Buffyverse is. I could really
Yeah,
geek
William,
out. And
I'm
freak
telling
out.
you,
Yeah.
when I was watching these, I was like, "This is great."
It's
I really,
great.
I know I say this kind of stuff and then I fall off it, and I very well may. But I was like, maybe I should rewatch Buffy because I really enjoyed watching it.
Hell
which isn't
yeah.
a surprise, but I just
Of
hadn't
course.
thought about it in a while.
It's wonderful.
It's great.
There's a lot of energy. Everybody on the show is very charismatic.
Totally.
The Monster of the Week stuff is actually handled very, very well. It's
Yeah.
engaging. It's weird.
Yeah.
They go for the entire broad spectrum of horror. Sometimes they go for scary. Sometimes they go for campy.
goofy.
Sometimes
Yeah.
they go for gross, sci-fi, whatever. They do it all.
They really do, and it's like corny but pleasantly so because you kind of love the people, so you're kind of willing to go there and not be like, ugh,
It's a
Xander.
great time.
You're like, okay, Xander's like this. This
Yes.
is the deal. He's like Chandler a little bit.
Yeah, Xander,
Zanzler.
Chander.
Zandler.
Zandler.
He's very quippy. You never get just like a normal answer out of him. And I noticed it, but I was like, that's this guy.
Yeah, that's the way he is.
I'm fine. So yeah, it's Ethan Rayne, and he has a whole like spell that he's doing in front of this this like idol. And when he ends the spell, he says, "Chaos, I remain, ever faithful, thy degenerate son."
Whoa!
Because he's a chaos magician.
Oh man, I wish I was a chaos magician.
Me too. We could be. You know, it's whatever you want.
You know, it's holding me back.
So yeah, could be a chaos magician, easy. So Buffy, Xander, and Willow all got their costumes from that shop, of course. Buffy got like an old time lady costume, like a flouncy kind of costume, because she is thinking about how what's his name, Angel's like a bajillion years old. She and Willow steal Giles' book that has all the notes about vampires from other watchers and slayers over time, and they read the Angel part, and it has a drawing of a woman who he like had a crush on or something like that back in the day.
Oh.
And it's somebody, you know, like big flouncy petticoats.
Right, like a Southern Belle kind of.
Yeah, I know. I'm having a hard time describing it, but yeah. And so Buffy gets that because she's like, oh, maybe I'll try being like the kind of guy that Angel, or the kind of girl that Angel liked back then. She gets that. Xander gets an army guy. And Willow first is going to basically dress like, I don't know what you would say her costume is. Buffy's like, Willow, nobody's going to ever notice you if you're always like being a shrinking violet. There are little things like that are weird. You know what I mean? So Willow's costume is just like a hottie girl outfit. She's wearing like a major crop top, a tight mini skirt, boots, more makeup than usual, but she also bought a ghost costume as a backup, like in case she got embarrassed.
Sure.
So she dresses like that, but then she puts the ghost costume on top of herself because she's like embarrassed about
That's kind of
being
funny.
like that. Yeah. So they all turn into their costumes. So Buffy now is a damsel in distress. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. She's not like the Slayer or anything. Xander is like an army guy who's taking care of business, and Willow is a ghost. So she takes off the ghost outfit and she's wearing her hottie outfit, but she's like invisible. Like, or is that right? No, she can go through walls and stuff. They can talk to her, but she is not like herself, basically. So Spike has taken this opportunity when all hell's broken loose because Ethan Rayne has let chaos reign. Spike is taking this opportunity to come up and feed and go nuts, and Buffy is useless.
Right.
You know, it's all going crazy. People who didn't get costumes from the shop are okay. So Angel is himself, and he starts to fight off Spike. Giles figures this out somehow, goes to stop Ethan Rayne. They get into a fight, and Ethan Rayne is all like, there's a Ripper. He's like on the ground because like Giles had like fought him or whatever. He's like, oh, there you are.
That's the Ripper I once knew.
Right, exactly.
Oi! Methinks I've spotted the Ripper. Me old friend.
Exactly. And so finally Giles is like, how do I break it? And he's like, you have to break that idol, because he's like kicking his butt. And Giles,
I'm gonna keep kicking you in the butt unless you tell me how to stop all this. Ow! Ow! Ouch!
ooh, ooh.
Ow!
So
I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep kicking you in the butt.
it's gonna keep happening. So
You know why they call me the Ripper? I'm gonna rip your butt in half.
because I kick major butt.
I'm gonna rip your pants. I'm kicking you in the butt so much. I'm gonna kick your butt.
So Spike and his boys are starting to win. Spike has Buffy like by the throat, and he's like about to kiss her or whatever.
Oh.
Well, I mean, you know, do the vampire kiss.
Bite,
Like, yeah,
bite her.
Don't they call it a vampire's kiss?
Yes.
Like, yeah, no, I know. You're right. You're right.
Just checking.
But so he's about to, and she's all like, like not fighting. And then Giles smashes the idol, so the spell is broken. And she goes, oh, first of all, Spike has had his hand in her fake wig or whatever, and like it's acting like normal hair would. He's like kind of pulling her hair, but
Because it's hair right now. It's magic hair.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, would it make the wig?
She became
fuse
the
to her-
costume.
Yeah, okay, I guess you're right. Because I was thinking this was an inconsistency, but that works. So he has his hand in her hair, and then when Giles breaks the thing, he pulls the wig off. He's all like, huh?
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's like Buffy's hair underneath. And she goes, hi, honey, I'm home. And starts kicking his butt.
Nice. Hell yeah.
It's totally great.
Gives him the old 1-2. That's where
right.
you kick one cheek and then the other.
She really clapped his cheeks.
I clap Spike cheeks. Yeah, that episode of Buffy really slaps.
It
Cheeks.
slaps. Do you want to bounce back 20 years now?
Yeah, sure. I only have
Okay.
2 more, by the way.
Okay, that's fine.
Just FYI.
All right.
That's great. That is like an iconic episode of Buffy.
And I think that the next one is even more iconic, the next
Really?
Buffy Halloween episode, because the next one showed up on best of Halloween lists all over the place. The one before it, I found on my own.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Wow,
Yeah.
I would have expected that one to be on. That's like
know.
I love that. The Halloween costume becomes real.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, this is Boy Meets World, and then there was Sean.
I'm excited to hear about this. I remember you told me about it a long time ago, and I don't remember if I've actually seen it or not, but it sounds
Really?
sweet. I think
Okay.
I probably have, but I don't remember.
This was the thing that I thought about outside of The Simpsons. This was the Halloween episode that I think of when I think of a Halloween episode.
Yeah.
It's Boy Meets World, the original series from the 90s. It aired in 1998. It was very, very, very clearly inspired by Scream.
Yeah.
And I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Cool.
As a matter of fact, Jennifer Love
faves.
Hewitt is in this episode.
Cool.
She shows up playing an...
Well, she was dating Will Friedle.
Really?
Yes, they dated for a long time. I forgot about that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes,
Well, they
that
have
makes sense.
they have like kind of a thing in this episode.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I forgot. How could I have forgotten?
I don't know how you could forget that. That's really important news in your world.
Yeah.
Will Friedle plays Eric, who is Corey Matthews' older brother, who's I remember as being hilarious.
Yes.
In this episode, he makes frequent references to South Park.
Okay.
Frequent.
Weird.
Because I think the other thing that this series was taking inspiration from, in addition to Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, was South Park.
I feel like you don't hear shows reference other shows that way often.
It's really strange.
Huh.
First of all,
imagine they kind of exist in their own world.
right. I remembered that there's a character in this story named Kenny. And so, oh my God, they killed Kenny
Oh,
is
okay.
said in this episode.
Yeah. Okay.
But what I didn't remember
Weird.
is that when Eric appears, he goes,
You mean Cartman?
Eric Cartman. When Eric appears in this episode, he goes, howdy ho.
Weird.
Which is what Mr. Hanky.
Mr. Hanky.
which is what
That show is so crazy.
Mr. Hanky says on South Park
Yeah.
in the Christmas episodes.
Weird.
It's very weird. Frequent South Park references.
I mean, I guess they're like, we're appealing to the same kind of demographic or something.
I guess.
Weird.
I guess. South Park was probably really popular at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also lied. This is not a Halloween episode, apparently.
But I mean, I feel like it still fits the theme. It's
It
an
definitely fits the
unusual
theme.
episode. For
I was
Boy
just
Meets World.
surprised. This episode, it's a slasher episode of Boy Meets World, aired in February
I saw that
1998.
It pops up on some like best of Halloween lists, so I saw that it came out in February, which is surprising.
So strange.
Yeah.
It's season 5, episode 17. It takes place, because Boy Meets World always had like a continuity. Corey and Topanga have just broken up, which is traumatic.
Yes.
Unexpected in this world. Sean cannot handle it. They go into class, they go into Feeney's class, and Sean is basically like, I can't handle the two of you being apart. Like, they're almost like his divorced parents in a weird way.
Yeah.
They kind of, sort of, or he kind of expects that they're going to ask him to pass messages to each other or something like that, but they don't really. He keeps interrupting class, and Feeney gets pissed. He eventually gives them all detention.
Okay.
So in the detention now, it's Corey, Sean, Topanga, Angela, who I forgot about.
Oh yeah.
And this guy, Kenny, who had wanted to borrow a pencil from Topanga. And Sean is like, I know what that means. Do you have any idea how many pencils I've borrowed from girls, Kenny? Okay.
Yeah, Sean was a real ladies' man.
He was. And then a scary janitor comes in to clean up the room, and he points at Sean. This janitor has like white pancake makeup on, slicked down hair. He's actually kind of creepy. And whenever he shows up, they play scary music, and his like little wheelie bin garbage cart
Like
makes like a
squeaks.
squeaky sound. It's actually pretty decent for like spooky atmosphere.
Yeah.
Feeney says like, all right, you all have to sit here for an hour and a half, and he's going to leave the room. And Sean immediately, once Feeney closes the door behind him, is like, he's not going to watch us? He gets up to leave, and somebody goes, where are you going, Sean? And he goes, well, if we're going to be in here for over an hour, I'm going to my locker to get my cheese product. Which is a great line.
Yeah, it is.
That's how he finds out Feeney locked them in.
Oh.
Scary janitor comes by again and starts peeking at them through the window in the door, which gets my goat.
Yeah.
It's actually a little spooky.
Yeah, I could see that.
Then there's a world map pulled down in front of the blackboard. It rolls back up, and no one gets out alive is written on the
Excellent.
blackboard in blood. Everybody acts like it's like a credible threat.
Yeah.
They'll go like, "Oh my god!" Like as if it couldn't
Right.
just be a
prank.
Sean starts turning into Randy from Scream here.
Okay.
Going like,
so he's
"Aha!"
explaining how
Yeah.
horror movies work?
Yes, and
Okay.
going like, Feeney's pulling a hoax. He's probably trying to teach us a lesson or something like that. Then they go like, so yeah, the locked door, the scary note on the blackboard, and then someone's gonna die. It's all very textbook. And Kenny goes, who's gonna die? And he goes, well, you're gonna die. And he goes, me? Why me? And then it cuts to a shot of Sean, Corey, Topanga, and Angela all standing together. And Corey goes, well, it's not going to be one of us. Which is pretty. They're the main characters.
That is, yes.
Yeah.
Little wink.
Yep. They hear somebody like a bouncing sound. It's almost like a thudding, like a heartbeat. And Sean's like, yes, that's the sound of our heartbeat as something approaches the door from the other side. And something scary is going to walk through the door right now. And the door opens, and it's Eric, who says, howdy ho.
Right. That's
That Mr. Hanky line.
Yep.
And Jack, who is Sean's older brother. So now they're in the mix.
okay.
Then the lights flick off, the lights flick on, and Kenny has been stabbed through the head with that pencil.
Oh.
The pencil's going through his skull,
Uh-huh.
and he collapses, leaving a pencil line going down the wall, leading to the iconic thing that I remember from this episode, where Corey walks up, and he points at the top of the pencil line, and he goes, we'll always remember, he was this tall.
This is surprisingly kind of graphic in a way,
Yes.
like scary for
Correct.
Boy Meets World. Although as I think
loved it.
about it,
I loved it.
That sounds awesome.
I
As
was
I think
12.
about it, I think Boy Meets World was like a little. It's such an old person thing to say, but like a little edgier than I think kids shows were today. Because I think about Sean and Angela making out. I feel like they were like really physical.
Yeah, they were. They tried to do like kind
Yeah.
of real
Yeah.
stuff, which is weird. At one point, Sean refers to this all as Dr. Feeney's House of Terror. It's obviously Feeney is doing all of this.
Yes.
Somebody says,
That
of
sounds
course,
great.
oh my God, they killed Kenny when Kenny died.
Of course.
Should have pointed that out.
Do they skip the "you bastard"?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. I just watched it, and I don't remember.
That's all right.
They run out into the hall because Eric, opened the door.
Yeah.
Where we then get our spooky music. A voice over the high school loudspeaker goes like old-timey, The Shining 1920s kind of era stuff. Welcome to John Adams High, where you are gonna die. That's right. And they're all scared and everything. And then at a certain point it goes, here's a knife, here's a gun, there'll be fun for everyone. That's right. Death is on the menu tonight.
Oh my God.
And Feeney appears, standing solemn in the hall, with one eye crooked. And Sean's like, Feeney, I knew it was you. Oh, well, nice job trying to scare us, Feeney. And they clap him on the shoulder, and he slumps over on the ground dead. He's got scissors stabbed into his back,
No.
which scares them back into the classroom.
Yeah.
Feeney is dead.
No, he's not.
Sean was wrong.
Right.
Feeney's not the suspect then.
And also, everybody's up for grabs.
Everyone's up for grabs, and Sean starts going like, Sean goes like, no, we got to be safe. Like, only virgins can live in horror movies. And then Corey turns to Topanga and he goes, thank you for saving my life.
Yeah.
Which I thought was weird because they've been together.
Yeah.
I guess it's ABC.
Yeah, right.
And then Eric goes, I'm going to die. Or something, whatever. And then Sean goes, I'll get about as sick as you can get without dying. That was interesting.
That's funny.
I don't know. Sean predicts that there's going to be a killer somewhere running around. There is. He's
Yeah.
in a black robe with a skull mask. When they go like only virgins can survive, Eric goes, go Feeney, go Feeney, go Feeney.
Oh my
Like,
God.
oh yeah, did you think that your 70-year-old teacher was a
Was
virgin?
a virgin? That's really funny.
Mr. Matthews, I'm a virgin. That was very weird. All right. Then there's a really dramatic moment that starts to get us to the crux of what's happening.
Cool.
When Sean accuses Topanga for being
Oh.
responsible for all this. He says, you were wrong to break up with Corey. Did any of this happen when you two were together? You've killed us all.
Oh my God. Is he being serious?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Dead serious.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Then that wheelie garbage bin shows up again. They're like, the janitor must be the killer. And they look in it and they scream. And Corey goes, "There's so many retainers in there."
It's really fun.
And Sean goes, "And this." And it's the janitor's dead body.
Yeah.
So it's not the janitor.
Oh my
and then
God.
they realize the killer's one of us. Until Jennifer Love Hewitt shows up playing Jennifer Love Pfefferman. And she's new. And they
This is
think
a great show.
They think maybe she did it. There's a Nev Campbell reference. The killer calls on the phone and does, "What's your favorite scary movie?" They end up going to the library to run and hide, and the killer picks them off one by one. How, you ask? You didn't.
How?
Do it?
How?
How, you ask?
How?
Jennifer Love Pfefferman goes down an aisle, and the killer pushes books on top of her,
Oh no.
and she dies.
Oh no.
And then Eric runs over to see if she's okay.
Yeah.
And then the killer pushes books on top of him, so he's dead.
Oh my God.
Then Jack goes...
They're making a mess of the school.
They are. Then Jack goes, "Eric, my best friend, how am I going to pay my rent? If I can't afford my rent, I don't want to live." And he runs out outside the window onto a ledge.
Okay.
Angela chases him out and goes, "No, no, no. Sean is also your roommate. You can still afford your rent." And he's like, "Thank you. Thank you for talking me down, Angela." But then the killer pushes them over. And then somebody online I saw trivia was like, actually, it's already been established that while Sean is his roommate, Jack is covering his share of the rent.
Oh.
So he still wouldn't be able to afford the rent anyway.
Yeah.
It's probably better for them to be
It's probably
dead.
for the best.
So now the killer is left with just Corey, Topanga, and Sean. They're
Yeah.
standing in front of each other. And Sean goes, "Why are you doing this?" And the killer reaches out. And he grabs Corey's hand and Topanga's hand.
And links them.
And he makes them hold hands. Sean walks forward and pulls the mask off the killer. Who do you think it is?
I don't know.
Take a guess. It's a whodunit, you know?
I know.
Who did it?
I don't know.
He pulls the mask off. It's Sean.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. But then I was thinking, how could it be?
It's Sean.
And then this other Sean is wearing a Sean bodysuit.
No.
What?
No.
He's a hologram.
No. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
No. Corey starts going, "Sean, Sean, Sean." He wakes him up. Sean had fallen asleep at the beginning of detention. It was all a dream.
Of course.
And everybody's fine, and even Kenny is alive.
Thank God Kenny is alive.
And then Sean realizes he's learned a big lesson. And he apologizes to Feeney for disrupting class and says it won't happen anymore. And he explains what he's learned. He says that he says, "You guys have been together since before I even knew you. And if you're not, it makes me feel like there's nothing I can depend on. And it makes me really angry that there's nothing I can do to fix this." Feeney steps forward. "Something bad happened, Mr. Hunter. And for the first time, you're not the one responsible." And he ends up letting them all go. He thinks they've all had a hard enough day already.
Well, it's very nice of
And
Feeney.
he lets them all go, and he turns off the lights and closes the door. And the killer pops up in the dark classroom and then sneaks out the door behind them.
Oh my God.
Credits.
Yikes. Well, that's also, even Sean falling asleep on his desk is a little bit of a sly reference because Mr. Feeney was on the show Saint Elsewhere that our mom has been watching, and
Yes.
I watched it with her.
Yeah.
And in that show, it turns out that everything has just been the dream of a child with autism.
Yeah, that's right.
So Sean falling asleep and this whole thing being a dream is kind of a little bit of a wink to that.
Yes, very good. You're absolutely right. During the end credits, they have a little scene where everybody is making a mess in class and throwing paper airplanes.
Yeah.
And Feeney had been having a dream that they were all like standing up and being like, "The 23rd state was blah, 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 which the paperwork was signed in this year." And then they all applaud for Feeney. And when he wakes up, they're all still making a mess. And he picks up scissors and stares at them like he'd like to kill them all. And then the episode really ends. So cliffhanger
Yeah.
for the revival of Girl Meets World, where Feeney comes back to murder them all.
That's right. Oh, man. Chilling.
Chilled me to the bone.
Yes.
The one bone.
Yeah, the one and only.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move on to Buffy Season 4, Episode 4. And the title of this episode is Fear Itself. So this is the one that made a lot of best Halloween episode lists.
Okay.
So Buffy and the gang are in college now. Xander isn't at college with them, but he's still, a friend of theirs and everything and in the mix.
Realistic.
Yes, totally.
Very realistic.
Yeah. But Buffy, Willow, and now Oz, who is now a series regular, who's Willow's boyfriend, played by Seth Green, who is a werewolf, all go to University of California Sunnydale campus, which is very close by Sunnydale.
To the high school.
In Sunnydale. So it's all fun.
Is that correct? They went to
Yes.
college in the same town? All of them?
Yeah.
In the same town where they all grew up?
Yeah. The
Okay.
3 of them did at least.
I guess, it's like Rutgers.
Yeah, it's not that weird, I
Yeah,
guess.
okay.
But so they decide to go to a frat party. And you're showing them walking up to the party and being like, all right, we'll see how it is, whatever. Buffy's feeling very bummed out because she slept with a guy. And then she was like, oh, like, do you want to go out, again later this week or something? He was like, Buffy, I thought we were just having fun. Like, what's your deal? So she's getting introduced to like college life and older people things, and is feeling extremely bummed about it. She's not really psyched to go to this party, but Willow is determined to make Buffy go out and have some fun.
Okay.
So they're going to the party, they're walking up, and you are seeing the inside of the party being total chaos. It was a couple of people playing that game where they put their hand and stuff, and you're like, ooh, eyeballs. Ooh, brains.
Ooh, brains.
But they put their hand in the eyeballs and they open their eyes and they're real eyeballs.
No!
And then a bunch of stuff just starts happening and everybody's running and screaming in the party. And Buffy and friends are just walking up to the party not knowing anything is wrong.
Yeah.
So they walk in, there's like nobody anywhere. And the house starts to change around them. The door that they walked through disappears and seals. Like strange things are happening and they are gradually split up. Does this ring a bell or something?
It's ringing a very vague bell.
Okay.
What season is this?
Season 4.
Season 4? Mm-hmm. I wonder if I was delirious.
I think it's the first year they go to college.
Okay.
Yeah. So the house basically starts to mess with them and they're all splitting up and trying to figure out what's going on or something. So Xander becomes invisible to Buffy because he's kind of feeling like he's invisible to his friends. They're going off and doing college things. And so it's preying on a fear of his that he's kind of irrelevant to these people. Because he's dating Anya now, who's that like demon lady.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I had totally forgotten she existed.
Same.
And because she's a demon and isn't used to the human world, she's like, I don't understand why you're still friends with these people. They seem to have nothing in common with you whatsoever. They're all together at college. You live at home. Why would you interact with them whatsoever?
Which
And
is
so it's
his fear. Yeah.
So he's like, aw.
Puts him in a deeper pit.
Right. So he goes in the house and he's invisible to everybody. Oz starts to turn into a werewolf even though there's no moon.
Oh.
So that's upsetting to him. He's
That's
like,
his
Willow,
fear.
you have to run away. Like, get away from me right now. He scratches her because he starts to turn. And then he goes into a bathtub and is like, you're not going to turn. You're not going to turn. You're not going to turn. Buffy and Willow have been having a thing earlier in the episode where Willow is telling Buffy that she's going to try some more advanced Wiccan spells. And Buffy is like, just kind of be careful. Like the other times you've done more advanced spells, like things have kind of backfired. And Willow's feelings were kind of hurt and she was kind of pissed at Buffy for sort of poo-pooing her ambitions. So Willow tries to do a spell that will help them make their way through the house. Like a directional spell that'll help them find a way out of the house. And she does it and it creates essentially kind of like a will-o'-the-wisp sort of thing. Like this one little like light appears in front of her. And so at first she's like, oh, great. Like it worked. Yes. And she's like, okay, show me where there's a window or whatever. But then more and more and more of them come and they all start swarming around her like a swarm of bees, basically.
Whoa.
So she did mess up her spell and make it backfire on herself.
Yeah.
And Buffy ends up in the basement of the house when she's searching. And then a bunch of basically like zombie vampires come to life of like people, not famous faces or anything, but I think it's supposed to be vampires that she has killed before, all start rising up out of the basement, like dirt, and start attacking her and she has to fight them off. So they're able to get out of it because Anya goes to the party because Xander invited her and she came a little bit late. And she sees somebody in a window upstairs screaming. And then she sees that window seal up in front of her. And she's like, Xander. And she goes to find Giles because she's like, all right, Giles will know what's up. They kind of consult. They go to the party house. And there's no door or anything from the outside. But they know that they must be in there and they have to save them. And Giles is like, I know how to create a door here. And she's like, how? And he pulls out a chainsaw and he's like,
Ripper.
Yeah, the Ripper. So he makes a door. I guess you didn't even see it happen. And they find them, and everybody is wound up upstairs in an attic room where they've all kind of come out of their scary reveries and they're sort of okay and they can see each other. Everybody's like kind of cool. And they see that there is a like a ritualistic drawing made on the floor that somebody must have. I think the implication, I don't know if I missed something or they kind of blew over it. I kind of think the implication is that because it was a Halloween party, they did a scary thing on the floor that they didn't know what it meant, the people who lived there, because they find an open spell book and there's this drawing on the floor. So,
people messing with magic, things they didn't understand.
Yeah, just for like Halloween purposes. But it invoked, Giles sees it and he's like, oh my God, this invokes Zacnar, who is the fear demon. So Giles is looking at his book and he's like, okay, so... I don't remember how he phrases it, but he's like destroying the symbol, and Buffy's like, I'm on it, and she like punches a hole through the floor, and he's like, immediately summons Zacnar. And so then
that's pretty good.
It's great. And then it's like a very classic Buffy monster thing.
Yeah.
You think there's gonna be some big fight or something. Zacnar is conjured and he's teeny weeny. He's like a mouse. And he's like, I am Zacnar. Tremble before me. And they're all looking down at him. They're like, oh, he's kind of cute. He's like, I said tremble. Or whatever. And then Buffy stamps on him.
Oh my God.
And that's pretty much
That's it? That's wonderful.
I know. They end up back at Giles' house. They're eating his Halloween candy. It turned out that Giles was very into Halloween.
Yeah.
Because it's a quiet night for demons. They're like, Buffy is like, what, are they not into the commercialization of the holiday or something? But it was established in that other episode that Halloween is actually a supernaturally quiet night. And so Giles is like dressed up to answer the door. He's like a big fan of candy. And they go back to his house. They're chilling out eating candy. And he's like, oh, I wish I had read what it said underneath the diagram of Zacnar. It's in Latin. I wish I had translated it. And they're like, what is it? It says actual size. And that's it. That's the capper.
That's pretty good.
It was great.
I've now got a hankering for Buffy. That's great.
I know.
Zacnar.
Yeah. Zacnar. Tremble.
Destroying the seal.
Yeah.
Immediately summons Zacnar.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's great. How many more do you have?
I have two. But
I kind of have
them
two.
are winners. Okay,
so
they're
then
quickies. Why don't I blow through them?
Blow through one, and then I've got two Simpsons things, really. So
well, but that if we have you want to end with both Simpsons?
No,
okay.
we'll split it up actually because I just realized that they're kind of two different things.
Okay,
they're both rad.
Very quickly, it's not that interesting. I wanted to see what an episode of TV that has nothing to do with anything spooky and is kind of like a primetime hit, how they handle a Halloween episode, and I came across people talking about season 4, episode 5 of Grey's Anatomy, entitled "Haunt You Every Day." Okay, so it's kind of light Halloween-y stuff throughout. Most of the plot is still just Grey's Anatomy. I've actually never seen Grey's Anatomy.
Neither have I. I will say I did ignore stuff where it's like The Office Halloween stuff because it's gonna be they don't break their own reality.
Yeah, totally.
You know, like it just still takes place. Like the thing that happens is that Kevin, is that a character
on The Office?
Yeah, I'm blanking. Okay, I thought his name was like Steve or something for a second. He is dressed like the Joker and it looks like crap.
Yeah, totally.
Everybody dresses like the Joker. Jim has a smug.
Yeah, he's a 3-hole punch version of Jim.
Yeah, good one, Jim.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really qualify. I would be more than thrilled to see another episode of anything with scary stuff in it at all. But I wanted stuff that like breaks the rules or tries something that's ambitious or spooky or. Yeah.
I felt the same way for coverage for the show, but I was curious about this. I'm like, Grey's Anatomy is like a drama from what I understand. So it's like, I wonder how they play in funny Halloween elements.
Right.
So I was curious. And it's not really, if you like Grey's Anatomy, I guess it's worth watching, but it's just like not really my thing. I wanted to note some interesting Grey's Anatomy horror connections, a couple of which are pretty nerdy on my part.
Great.
Okay. So McDreamy is played by Patrick Muldoon, right?
Patrick Muldoon?
Isn't that his name?
Patrick Muldoon?
Who is the guy in Scream 3? What is his name?
Lorna Doone.
What's the Scream 3 guy's name who's McDreamy?
Muldoon is one of the people that hunts dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. I know that.
Great, Will. What's the guy's name from Scream 3 who's in Grey's Anatomy?
No one tell her.
William, come on. You know it. What is it? Don't you know it?
I do know it.
What is it?
Patrick Dempsey.
Oh, yeah, not...
Patrick Muldoon.
No, there is a Patrick Muldoon out there.
Who the hell's Patrick Muldoon?
He's another actor. I don't know. He's not as successful.
Are you sure he's just in the phone book?
I'm positive that Patrick Muldoon is an actor.
I'm going to give it a goog. Keep
Okay.
talking.
All right, go
You
ahead.
talk your thing. I'm
I
going to look
guarantee
up Patrick
you.
Muldoon.
All right, you're an idiot. So, well, I guess.
Who is Patrick Muldoon?
Oh, yeah, I'll keep talking while you do this.
According to Wikipedia, Patrick Muldoon is an American actor, film producer, and musician.
Musician.
Okay.
All right, let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy.
Who's he?
Oh, he's like a soap opera guy.
Okay.
You know what? He's in my head a little bit because he appeared on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills this past season because he's Denise Richards' ex.
Yeah, top search result. Is Patrick Muldoon the only man Lisa Rinna and Denise Richards have shared?
Oh, yeah.
Ew.
That's right. I forgot Lisa Rinna also.
Have shared.
Yeah, ew.
Don't like it.
Well, anyway, not Patrick Muldoon. Patrick Dempsey is in Scream 3.
Yep.
Eric Dane, who plays McSteamy, I think, by the way, I think that because there's McDreamy and McSteamy. I just
okay.
know this from the ether. Here's what I think, and I could be wrong. I think McDreamy was the original Hot person. And then I think Eric Dane later joined the show and then they dubbed him McSteamy. So I think those two guys are McDreamy and McSteamy. Anyway, Patrick Dempsey, who's McDreamy, is in Scream 3. Eric Dane, who's McSteamy, is married to Rebecca Gayheart, who is in Scream 2.
And Urban Legend.
Yeah. But I'm saying they're both connected to the Scream franchise.
That's true.
Okay. Then Brooke Smith, who played Catherine in Silence of the Lambs, is a doctor on Grey's Anatomy. So they have some horror chops, and I almost don't want to talk about it anymore. The episode was kind of boring.
We had to sit through all that.
It's not even
Patrick Muldoon. We had to go through all that. You don't even want to talk about what happened. What happened in it?
not that much. It's okay. So Meredith, I guess it's spooky. Her mom died, and she brings her ashes to work. So I guess that's spooky.
That's what's spooky. That's sad.
I know. Her mom was a doctor there or something. And it seems like her mom was also a biatch. And Meredith wants to get her ashes out of her home because she feels they're haunting her. And people are a little creeped out that she has the ashes at work. She ends up pouring them down the sink in the surgery room because she thinks her mom would want to be there forever, something like that. The other thing that they say is creepy is that there's a guy comes in and he says that his foot doesn't feel like it's his own. He feels like it's haunted, and he says it feels like a corpse foot. And he says he wants it amputated. And the doctors are like, we don't want to do that. You have a perfectly healthy foot. But basically, they don't verbalize it. But this dude obviously has something called body integrity dysphoria, which is people who feel they shouldn't have their limbs. They're meant to be amputees.
All right, that's a little scary.
Yes. So that's happening. Here's the thing. Another dude comes in the hospital and he has injuries from a chainsaw pumpkin carving contest.
Okay.
But they brought the chainsaw in with him. The dude who wants his foot amputated somehow finds the chainsaw and cuts his own foot off.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And they have surgery to reattach the foot.
Ooh.
So that happens.
That is scary.
Yeah, but it's mixed in with a bunch of other...
Did you watch this?
Yeah, I did.
Did it suck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mixed in with a bunch of other stuff. The other thing that I thought was weird, so this isn't as much of a drama as I thought. It's like, I think it's more of like a dramedy with some lighthearted elements. Because I hear, or maybe it's just for the Halloween episode, because this is a little bit zany. I always hear people talk about crying during Grey's Anatomy and stuff, and it like puts you through the ringer. But there's some goofy things. So there's a little kid who comes into the hospital, and he wants to get McSteamy, who I guess is like supposed to be a really great surgeon, to build him ears pro bono because he can't hear well and he has the internal mechanisms one needs for your ears, but he doesn't have externally formed ears. And I guess McSteamy can build him some ears. And so he wants him to do that. And Meredith, who is like a lead character on it, is also wanting McSteamy to do it, even though McSteamy doesn't want to do it. And she comes up with a thing where she gives the kid a pillowcase and she's like, look at him. Like he comes in your room. He's like, trick or treat. Can you build me ears? And she's like, look at him. He's trick or treating for ears. And they end up building the kid some ears.
Oh, God.
Also, Shirley from The Haunting of Hill House is there. She's making out with somebody.
Okay.
They're having an affair.
Okay.
So that's it.
I wish you hadn't told me that.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about The Simpsons Part 1.
Yeah.
So I'm going to save Treehouse of Horror for the end because I saw something, again, that terrified me to my core.
Great.
But the thing about Treehouse of Horror, which is obviously the scary thing you think of when you think about The Simpsons, it's a yearly thing they do. And typically what they do in their Treehouse of Horror episodes is have 3 short stories that take place out of the regular canon.
Right.
Anything might happen. George Burns can turn out to be George Burns.
What's wrong with those with names? Mr. Burns. Do we know
Mr.
his
Burns?
first name?
Maybe his first name is
Maybe
George.
it's George.
Okay. Mr. Burns can turn into a Dracula. You know, Homer can all of a sudden be a zombie. It doesn't matter. And then next week, everything will be normal again.
Right.
That's what they usually do for Halloween, except Kristen, in their 27th season, episode 4, this was in 2015, when they did an episode called Halloween of Horror.
Okay.
This is in continuity. They
okay.
aren't breaking the rules, and yet it is still a Halloween-themed episode of The Simpsons.
Cool.
So instead of doing some sort of a parody of a horror movie, they're showing you what The Simpsons do on Halloween.
Sweet.
And it is an episode that would go on to be nominated for an Emmy. And
cool.
the writer of the show was nominated for an Emmy. Emmy.
Yeah.
Good God.
I don't know what's going on.
Niles. It's like an acclaimed episode. I watched it to find out why. I was charmed.
Cool.
I'm not the world's biggest Simpsons fan. I respect it as an institution.
Absolutely.
I've enjoyed great swaths of it, but I have not watched it in a long time.
Same.
In this episode, Homer is trying to decorate his house for Halloween. It's sort of revealed that the Simpsons always have a big horror decoration thing, invite a bunch of people over, stuff like that.
Cool.
He goes down to the Quickie Mart where they're selling Halloween stuff, and there are 3 scumbag dudes who are huffing the goo that's inside of a glow stick
Okay.
and stuff like that. And they tried to give Homer a sweet deal on some mariachi singing skeleton statues.
Yeah.
They're like, if you pay for 1, I'll put all 3 in your car. Just don't tell Mr. Squishy over there. Talking about Apu.
Okay.
And then Homer walks over to Apu and he goes, these guys are giving me a great deal on these skeletons. Just don't tell, Mr. Squishy.
Yeah.
He just doesn't know what's happening. So now the cat's out of the bag. His workers are trying to sort of like
Yeah. They're selling stuff on the side
sell
for a
stuff
profit.
on the side. He throws them out. He throws them out on the street.
Okay.
And
Fair.
they land in the middle of the street, and Homer walks in. He's like, I'm so sorry I got you fired. And they're pissed at Homer. And they say to him, you're going to be real sorry you did that to us. And he goes, I'm sorry now. Which is a great line.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
say The Simpsons isn't good anymore. That made me laugh.
Oh, when is this from? Is this like a more recent episode?
2015.
Oh, okay.
4 years ago. Lisa wants to go to Krusty Horror Nights, which is like Universal Horror Nights. She
Yeah.
goes there and there are a bunch of zombies and stuff jumping in her face. They're obviously costumes. This is not an episode that breaks the rules. Everything that happens
Right.
is plausible in this episode.
Right.
She's just overwhelmed. It's too scary there.
Yeah.
And, Bart kind of makes fun of her for being a little too chicken with everything. But because she's so scared, she ends up like going into the fetal position. And the people who run the amusement park are like, all right, shut the whole thing down. We've got a class 5 baby who's ruining it for everyone.
Yeah.
Or, whatever. And they have to shut down the entire thing. And everyone's annoyed at Lisa for ruining Halloween for everyone.
Yeah.
And she's so traumatized, she regresses. Her fear, now that she's home, she takes a little toy thing that she calls Taily. I think it's like supposed to be like the tail of a stuffed animal she had when she was a baby.
Okay.
And all that remains is the tail. And Homer and Marge are like, oh no, she's got Taily again. She's she's acting like a baby.
Right.
And so they essentially swear off Halloween for this year because it's too scary for Lisa.
Yeah.
Which ruins it for Bart.
Right.
So Marge decides, I'll take Bart and Maggie trick-or-treating. And Homer's going to stay home with Lisa and make sure that she's okay. Everything was too scary for her.
Yeah.
So he's got her at home and he gives her like a puzzle that is all ponies and stuff. And then the crux of the episode sort of kicks off. Those 3 scumbags that Homer got fired show up and they're here to harass Homer. And it's basically like the Strangers. There are 3 of them. They're wearing 3 Halloween masks that they stole from Apu's shop.
Yeah.
One of them is a clown, one of them is a nurse, one of them is Ghostface.
Oh.
And while they're here to stalk Homer, Homer is terrified of them, but trying to make sure Lisa doesn't know they're being harassed because he doesn't want her to be scared.
Yeah.
And so he's like walking through the house like terrified and stuff and trying to close all the blinds. She goes, why are you closing all the blinds? He's like, I don't know, it's nighttime. Isn't life funny and safe? Says to her. He goes, maybe I'll whistle a happy tune to seem happy. And he starts whistling the Halloween theme song.
It's just creeping in.
Yeah. And then the three guys break into the house.
Ugh.
And they say like they're going to beat the crap out of this old man or something like
God.
that. Something like that.
Yeah.
And Lisa kind of can't believe it's happening. Finally, she sees and she's terrified and freaking out. She's like, this can't be real. This can't be real. And Homer goes, Lisa, I'm your father. I've lied to you more times than there are stars in the sky. This is real.
Oh my God.
Isn't this kind of messed up?
Yes. I'm surprised.
Yes. They have a fog machine, the three guys, and one of them goes, here's what it is. Here's what it is. They go, give me a hit off that fog machine. We got a fat man to beat on.
Oh my God.
Which is weird. And then they
Yeah.
huff the fog machine.
This is freaky.
Sidebar.
Dark episode.
When we lived in Missouri, at the school dance, there was a fog machine on the stage. And I was friends with no goodnicks.
Yeah.
And they all wanted to jump up and huff the fog machine.
Really?
Yes.
Huffing fog is a thing?
Kind of.
I
Like
actually
the fog
didn't know
machine was
that.
just blowing out smoke.
Huh.
And then we would run up and just go like to inhale it.
Huh.
I was 11.
Yeah. I didn't know that like produced an effect.
Yeah. No, it doesn't do anything.
Oh, it doesn't?
It was just
okay.
lame.
Oh, okay. Cool.
The effect it produces
Lameness.
is eventual embarrassment.
Yeah.
Delayed embarrassment. Meanwhile, while Homer and Lisa are being stalked, and they've hidden themselves in the attic.
Yeah.
And the three people that are there to wreck them
Right.
can't
My
find
God.
them. We cut to Marge, who's taking Bart around trick-or-treating. She's driving around, but it's too late. Everybody's like turning off their lights, whatever. And the one place they wanted to go, this like gated community they wanted to go, is kind of turning them back. There's too
Yeah.
many people packed in. There's like an ET that'll repeat whatever you say. And Bart had kind of been going like, Halloween is ruined. I don't want to do any of this. And Marge goes, well, but there's the ET where you can tell it whatever you want and it'll say it back to you. And he goes like, so if I say that my name is a dirty word, she goes, he'll say it. And he goes, all right, fine, we can go. And then when they get turned back because they can't go into the party, he sees the ET and it bends down and says to a kid, hello, scrotum. That was very funny. Really made me
That
laugh.
is good.
It's pretty good. And then because now it's too late, they see a few people out on the street, and it kicks off a musical number that's a parody of the Time Warp from Rocky Horror Picture Show. This isn't the Halloween they were looking for. This is grown-up Halloween.
Yeah.
Because it's after 9, and now all the grown-ups engage in debauchery. And so some of the lines are, grown-ups become monsters after 9. It's time for grown-up Halloween. It's naked, grown-up, wasted Halloween.
God.
And it's not for kids.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
Bart
yeah.
can't be part of this. And
Yeah.
so they have to run around and like Milhouse's mom is like showing cleavage. And, Chief Wiggum is wearing like a gimp suit or something. Like it's all kinds of
Unnerving.
adult Halloween insanity, but it's also like coming from a place of reality. And if The Simpsons is supposed to be parodying
Yeah.
sort of society, I was very impressed with this episode.
Yeah.
Okay. So the three scumbags decide since they can't find Homer and Lisa, they're just going to wreck the house. So they're in the bedroom smashing stuff and like making a mess, whatever. And Homer goes, maybe I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm scared too.
Oh my God.
And he says, you can't let fear shut down your brain because between the two of us, we've only got one good one. And this gives Lisa an idea. They're up here in the attic with all their stuff. They can use all of the Halloween decorations that they packed up because she was too scared of everything to signal for help. They're going to use their Halloween decorations on the roof to signal to people that something is going on.
Right.
And then they go like, well, we've got all the holiday decorations up here. So as they're trying to send some sort of a message by putting decorations all over the house, Homer knocks over those 3 mariachi band skeletons, which start making noise, signaling to the 3 scumbags
Where
they're in
they
the
are.
attic. The 3 scumbags start trying to break in. Lisa has to like put a broom handle through that attic door thing to make it not open.
Yeah.
And Homer's on the roof trying to light all these fireworks. But every time he lights a match, the wind blows it out. And so Lisa is now like, I know what we can do. Taylor would go up in 2 seconds. We can use this to start the fire. And she has to light her childhood
my
regression
God.
safety net
Yeah.
on fire to light the fireworks, which works. And it sends a message of help, which, with all the fireworks and everything, wakes people up, gets everyone's attention. Milhouse's naked dad sees it. And everyone goes like, the Simpsons need our help.
Yeah.
And they all rush over to save them, and they catch the bad guys and put them
Cool.
away. Marge shows up just a little bit later, and she sees all these people around the house,
Yeah.
dressed in Halloween costumes and stuff. Bart's excited because Halloween's back on.
Right.
And Marge is like, no, Lisa's going to be so scared. And then Lisa pops out of this coffin that's on the front lawn and scares her. She's learned to enjoy scary stuff and has grown up. This has been a coming of age tale.
It's formative.
And they all have a Halloween party, and the episode ends.
Wow, what an episode. That
Halloween of
crazy.
Horror. Simpsons season 27, nominated for an Emmy.
I don't blame them. That sounds really good.
Can't stop hearing people tell me that The Simpsons is terrible.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. It
That
was
sounds great.
wonderful. And like it's a real story like in the world.
Yeah,
It was a Halloween themed episode of The Simpsons, not Treehouse of Horror.
Right.
And it was great.
Cool. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm going to bring it down for a sec before we bring it back up.
Hell yeah.
I watched Halloween is Grinch Night from 1977, and you can find that on YouTube. Have you seen it before?
No.
I hated it. This feels awful is what I wrote.
They were trying to delight people with a Grinch Halloween.
They apparently did. It won the 1979 Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Children's Programming.
It was a different time.
Different time. They keep singing about the sour, sweet wind that brings on the Grinch.
Say it again?
Sour, sweet wind.
I don't like that.
I hate it. The sour, sweet wind makes like grackles gruckle, which then gets the pond going, which then makes the barbles booble, and then that makes the Grinch come out or whatever. The music is different. It's like a different style. Everybody's different. It's all weird. So it's like a prequel basically to The Grinch Stole Christmas. Max looks all malnourished, the dog, and all sad, and he sings a sad song about how his life got this way.
The dog does?
Yes.
He can talk?
No, he's like singing it in his head. It's like a sad song about how his life got this way, how he came to serve the Grinch, and he says he can't help but think that his great aunt Woofy wouldn't care for him now. The Grinch has a thing that they call the paraphernalia wagon, where he's bringing down to Whoville from his mountain, and he's going to unleash horrors onto them, basically. Max pulls the paraphernalia, maybe it's the paraphernalia sled, and he is whipping Max so much, who looks like a sad little messed up dog. It is so weird. The Grinch is much more like, it's not just that he hates Christmas, he hates like all life.
Yeah, it's like joy.
Yes, he runs over some flowers and he sees he missed one, so he backs up over it, but they make it kind of like dark and weird.
Like he's sick. Like he's
he's a
like it's not just that he is like a gleeful villain. He's like a deranged freak.
He's evil. He is following a woozy that crosses his path, apparently to try to kill it. He's like stalking it to get it. It's so weird. And so one of the Who's who lives in Whoville, they all lock up their windows and lock up the doors when they smell the sweet, sour wind. They lock everything up. And there's a family who have all rhyming names. And one of them is Euchariah. And Euchariah says that he has to go to the euphemism. And I didn't understand what that was watching it. And then when I looked it up later, the euphemism is the outhouse. So they're using euphemism instead of calling it a bathroom.
Right.
They call it euphemism, but I didn't understand that.
In
Maybe
this
that's just
case,
me.
the word euphemism is a euphemism.
Right, but it wasn't clear to me. He was just like, I have to go outside to the euphemism. And I was like, what's he doing?
I love hearing you make fun of silly Dr. Seussisms.
Yeah. Nah. I mean, I like Dr. Seuss fine.
And it makes the burbles burble and
You know.
Dr. Seuss words.
Yeah, Zuzus. And so he's carried away on a gust of the sour, sweet wind into the Grinch's path. He ends up going on top of the Grinch's paraphernalia sled, where the Grinch opens up this hatch, and then something awesome happens, genuinely. There's a sequence where I was watching it like, whoa. What's his name? Euchariah ends up in a trippy world. It is very cool for a few minutes where there are like giant weird feet monsters. It's literally like psychedelic and strange. Weird eyeballs looking at him. Like reality is bending in on itself.
Yeah.
It's very sweet.
Is it like in Winnie the Pooh when the heffalumps and woozles?
Yes, it is. It's like the heffalumps and woozles world.
Yeah.
It's very awesome, actually. And then he comes out of that world and he's like, I smell the sour sweet wind dying down.
Oh.
I guess you have to go back to your thingy or whatever. And so the Grinch retreats. Max leaves with Euchariah.
Oh.
So I don't know how Max ends up back with the Grinch for the Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
Maybe that's not the real Max. Maybe he gets a new Max.
Maybe. But anyway, that's Halloween is Grinch night.
Good God.
Didn't like it except for that one heffalumps and woozles part. But
How
that
long-
part was awesome.
How long was it?
25 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So not terrible.
Not terrible, but I didn't like it well, I guess I did like it one bit. I
You liked one bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's cap this off
Yeah.
with what I really think is probably the champion of all Halloween specials.
Cool.
Because
Wow,
they
bold.
do it year in, year out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you meant this one episode was the champion of them all.
This episode? Yeah, well, it is. We're championing like Halloween episodes for sure. So, The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, which, as I'm saying, is different from Halloween of Horror, that one episode. This is a tradition. Every single year, they do a Halloween-themed episode. Sometimes it parodies pop culture of the time. Sometimes it reaches into the history of horror to do an episode. But they've been doing it. The Simpsons, I think, is in its 31st season. They started doing these in their second season.
Cool.
So, in season 31, which is on right now, they just aired their 30th Treehouse of Horror, I think literally in the past week.
Cool.
So it's Treehouse of Horror XXX, Roman numerals for 30, which is also the 666th episode of The Simpsons.
That worked out.
How wonderful is that?
That's awesome.
There's, I think, a gag somebody on the crew said, like, yeah, we've been planning for this ever since the first Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's clearly not true, but it's a good thing to
Yeah,
say.
totally.
And it's great planning.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely
It worked out.
great planning. So these episodes, the Treehouse of Horror, was originally meant to be scary, outside continuity, so they could do whatever they want. And they originally started with disclaimers from Marge, who would start the beginning of the show by going, these stories might be too scary for kids. So you might not want to have your kids in the room while this episode is on, because they really intended to get kind of spooky with it.
Yeah.
They were inspired by EC Comics Horror Tales, which is stuff like Tales from the Crypt.
Okay.
They wanted to do sort of their own version. And some of the iconic stuff, I'm going to talk to you about one in particular, really. But some of their iconic episodes include The Shinning, which is a parody of The Shining. I think it was Treehouse of Horror 5. I watched it the other night, where Homer and the entire family, the Simpsons, go to stay in Mr. Burns' old mansion and watch it. And there's no TV, and so Homer starts losing his mind.
That's really funny. Actually.
Yeah, and it says, it's like no booze and no TV makes Homer something. And
Yeah.
all over the walls it says, no TV and no booze makes Homer go crazy.
Yeah.
So he goes, no TV and no booze makes Homer something. And Marge goes, go crazy? And he goes, don't mind if I do! And he starts going crazy and chasing after them up those stairs.
Yeah.
But then he accidentally falls down of his own accord. They drag him into the pantry. It's all very closely following The Shining, which is great.
Yeah.
And then they are running away from him in the cold because he wants to kill them. He's already killed groundskeeper Willie.
Okay.
Who has the Shinning.
Yeah. Is there a reason they call it the Shinning or anything?
I think it's only because it's a weird Scottish
Yeah.
sounding thing. And so when they're running away outside in the cold, they end up finding one of those old portable TVs there used to be. And so they distract Homer with it, who's about to kill them instead. And he gets distracted with the TV, and they all clamor around it in the snow outside. And then it snaps the next morning. They've all frozen to death watching TV outside.
That's funny.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I think the very first Treehouse of Horror had Homer in a dramatic reading of The Raven by
Okay.
Edgar Allan Poe, and it was a straight read. There is no, Bart plays the Raven, but
Yeah.
outside of that, there's like no comedy or anything. And I think it's one of those things that you have to respect as like
Yeah, a thing to try.
Right. But it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
So I looked up a few. I watched a few. Some of the ones that I particularly remember are Homer Cubed, where he ends up going into our real world where it's all 3-dimensional, and he becomes a 3-dimensional character.
Yep.
I remember watching that live when
Yeah.
it first aired, and it being really kind of weird and exciting.
Yeah.
I'd never seen CGI in a TV show.
Yeah.
At the time. I remember the one where the Bart is in school, and it turns out all the teachers are eating the kids. Mm-hmm. And in that episode, they introduce a little German character who is one of the only characters who was invented in a horror episode who eventually crossed over into the main show. That little German kid ended up being like a mainstay classmate. But now let's talk about some more recent stuff. I checked in with episode 666, Treehouse of Horror XXX. I really love that.
Yeah.
I watched it the other night. They do parodies of Stranger Things, where Milhouse gets trapped in the Upside Down, basically. Not bad.
Yeah.
They do The Shape of Water, where either Patty or Selma, one of Marge's sisters, falls in love with either Kang or Kodos. You know what I'm talking about? Those big aliens?
Oh, yeah, I do.
And they're like smooching, and Mr. Burns wants to study the alien, stuff like that. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And Homer dies in one of them and gets rejected. He wasn't supposed to die. He accidentally died. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, I'll tell you what. I think he drowned and his body is all bloated from the water, but they're like, your body's ruined, but I'll tell you what. Somebody else who is scheduled to die, we can put you back down in their body. And so Homer ends up getting to be in like a hot young stud.
Yeah.
And Marge is all like attracted to his new body, and he's able to say it's Homer.
Right.
He shows up at the door and he looks like a stud. And she goes like, who are you? And he goes, it's me, your husband.
Yeah.
I love ice cream. Whatever. And she goes, you're not my husband. He goes, I'll tell you something that only the real Homer would know. And she goes, all right, one. He goes, I forget. She goes, Homer, it's you.
That's good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then overnight, she wakes up in the morning and he's all fat. She's like, you ruined this body. And so he keeps body swapping to like a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
And whatever. It was pretty good.
That sounds good.
It was pretty charming. But here's what I really want to talk to you about. Mm-hmm. All the rest of this, basically this entire episode, has been leading to the moment where I get to talk to you about a story called Homer.
Okay.
I've been waiting to tell you about this.
Yes, you've been talking about this for weeks.
Yeah. Probably almost a month.
Yeah, probably.
Because Allie and I remembered that Treehouse of Horror existed and decided to watch a bunch of them, which brought us to watching Treehouse of Horror 28, which is from 2017.
Okay.
It opens with Maggie getting possessed by Pazuzu. They go on, they do a story called Cora Lisa, where Lisa finds a secret door that leads her to a world where her other mother lives and has buttons over her eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all done in CGI, and it actually looks really great and really inventive.
Cool.
And then they go to Homer. Now, I told you that when Treehouse of Horror first began, Marge used to come out and warn viewers of what was to come. They discontinued that.
Yeah. They brought it back for this one? Mm-hmm. Cool.
Lisa stands on a stage and tells everybody who's watching, this story might be too disgusting. Oh. And here's what happens. Homer is home alone, and he's excited about it. Mm-hmm. Marge takes the kids to go somewhere. Who cares? And Homer does what I have done in the past. Great. I'm going to eat a bunch of garbage. Mm-hmm. So Homer buys a bunch of food, whatever, and he's cooking it all. He's like dancing around in his underwear, eating candy, eating all this junk food.
Yeah.
And then he's in the backyard at the grill, and he's throwing hot dogs down, and he goes to open a package, and he accidentally cuts off his finger.
Oh, my God.
And his finger lands on the grill, and he's freaking out. And he's like, what do I do? What do I do? And as it's rotating like on the grill a little bit, it gets all plump and moist and juicy. And it smells
it's looking good.
Amazing. And Homer picks up his own finger.
This is messed up.
And starts eating it.
Yeah.
It cuts to him walking into the kitchen, and he's sucking on the bone of his finger. And it's almost like a chicken wing. And he throws his finger bone in the garbage. And this kicks off a segment where Homer becomes addicted to eating parts of his own body.
Yeah.
There's a montage of him, shaving the bottom of his feet.
Ew.
Cutting his hair into stuff.
His 3 hairs.
His 3 hairs. And gradually he ends up eating all of his fingers. He eventually doesn't have any fingers. He starts cutting off like the sides of his stomach and stuff and grilling it up and eating it. And he, at one point, there's like a joke where he goes like, I've been eating such bad food for so long, I'm delicious.
Yeah, I've become great.
Eventually, he's trying to stop. He can't.
Yeah.
And Marge comes home and he opens the door. And what was described by a producer in an Entertainment Weekly article as being the funniest part of the episode starts to really make me uncomfortable. Homer opens the door and he is thin. His clothes are all loose. His arm is like bandaged. And one of his pant legs is empty. And if you look down, he has got his shoe binder clipped to the bottom of his pant leg.
Yeah.
Because he ate his leg at some point.
Oh my God.
Marge can't believe how much weight he's lost. It's surprising to her. And then in the middle of the night, she wakes up and he's not in bed. And she can hear him downstairs cooking. And she goes like, oh, Homer, you shouldn't be eating in the middle of the night. So she goes downstairs to stop him. And when she walks into the kitchen, Homer is a torso on a stool with his other leg in a frying pan.
Yeah.
Caught.
This is...
Smash cut to a door that says addiction counselor. She's brought Homer to an addiction counselor because now they're not even making a gag out of it anymore. They're talking about his addiction to cannibalism where he's eating himself.
Yeah.
And he's wasting away. He's not going to be around much longer.
Oh my God.
And then Mario Batali comes in because he's heard that Homer's delicious. Marge says she can't be with him anymore. So she goes to like leave. She's going to leave Homer and divorce him. She can't have her kids around him.
Yeah.
Because he can't stop. And he admits that he can't stop.
Yeah.
I think he's wearing like an oven mitt over his hand because he doesn't have like an arm anymore.
Right.
So Mario Batali shows up and says that he heard that Homer was delicious and he's got a great idea. Smash cut to Homer's severed head in a frying pan that Mario Batali is cooking. And then it still isn't over. Marge is living with the kids in like a hotel or something.
Yeah.
And she gets a letter from her dead husband. Now they're admitting that Homer is dead.
Yeah.
And he's saying that he failed her and he's sorry, but maybe she'll be proud of him if she just comes back to the house. So they drive up to the house, which has been turned into a restaurant named Chez Homer. And his meat has been shipped out to tons of restaurants all around the world. He's being sold in fast food places. Lenny and Carl, his co-workers, are there, and they're drinking drinks out of Homer's skull.
Oh my God.
And then Bart reaches out for an appetizer, which has Homer meat on like a cracker, and eats it. So he eats his father's flesh. And I don't even remember if there was a gag at the end. I feel like I was gagging and I like fell over.
That's crazy.
Homer.
Homer.
From 2017. What
That's
is going on?
intense.
What is happening? And no one is talking about it.
That's a really crazy sounding episode.
It was so messed up
Yeah,
and
it's like disturbing.
deranged. Honestly, seeing Homer Simpson, I know how stupid this could sound, but like seeing Homer Simpson, who like they're showing him like it's two things. One, it's the grotesque shock
Yeah.
of like a weird sort of pseudo realistic display of cannibalism.
Right.
It's also the grotesque display of Homer trying to hide it.
Yeah.
Having his shoe be binder clipped to the bottom of his pants and it's like swaying around
Yeah.
was like disturbing.
Yeah, it
Al and I were
sounds
watching it
disturbing.
and
That's
just
the
kind of
word.
being like, oh my God.
Yeah. Like
Like-
my skin is crawling.
Absolutely. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I've never seen anything like that.
Weird.
And, you know, I consider myself to a certain extent to be something of a horror connoisseur. I have never seen another story like that. I don't know what they were parodying. I looked it up and it was just like one of the writers on staff, Joel Cohen, unless it was the Joel Cohen. suggested Homer gets addicted to eating himself.
Yeah.
And they went with it. But the realism they treated it with, I think was...
Yeah, to go to an addiction counselor and stuff. Like, whoa.
Like they
Simpsons.
couldn't... It still would... I'm not saying that this is a fix to make it not disturbing. I'm just surprised they didn't do something where it's like Homer realizes that he can regenerate any body part.
Right.
And he starts eating himself.
No, he's dying.
He's wasting away.
Yeah, right.
And he becomes emaciated and...
Yeah.
It's sickening. There's like an image of Marge sitting on a therapist's sofa, and Homer is just kind of propped up on it because he doesn't have legs anymore.
It sounds awful.
It was so messed up.
Yeah, it sounds like
it was so messed up.
Holy crap.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, Will.
Holy guacamole.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Quite frankly, I kind of recommend it. You've got it was on television. Like this thing was on
crazy.
This thing was on Fox.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Well, not Maggie. Lisa warned you.
Yeah, you know what? Lisa did warn me, and I thought that was a joke.
Yeah.
I thought that they were like, oh, they're going to be puking.
Right,
They'll be puking all over the place or something.
Right.
Or I don't know what. But I genuinely realized at a certain point, like, oh, no, they were probably...
This is legit disgusting.
They were probably told by, like, the network.
Yeah, it's probably some sort of standards and practices thing.
You have to warn people.
Yeah.
You know? And
I'm sure tons of people thought it was a joke. You know, why wouldn't you?
So crazy.
That's nuts.
It was so crazy.
Oh, man.
It was... Yeah.
Well, guys, go get your spines tinkled by that.
Good God.
Holy moly.
Bit off more than I could chew.
Yeah, apparently.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. But Treehouse of Horror is dynamite, and I've continued to keep watching them, because even when they're bad, they're good.
Yeah.
You know, it's just fun to see horror stuff happen. And the way to which they don't hold back, actually, I think is a major strength of theirs.
Yeah.
If there was an episode of The Office where Creed killed everybody, that would be great. And then just next week, ignore that it ever happened.
Yeah.
How are more people not doing this?
I don't know, but that is something that's super fun, that like all bets are off.
Yeah.
And it'll be fine next week.
I think Boy Meets World was rad, but it was weird that they tried to fold it into continuity.
Yeah.
It's so much more fun to see people have to do stuff that's outside of character.
Yeah, completely. And you just understand that this is a Halloween episode.
Absolutely. I think everybody would be willing to go with the...
Of course.
Benefit of disbelief or whatever.
I think so.
To
Why
just
not?
let it happen.
Yeah.
What's a Halloween episode of a show you would love to see? Do you have what's a show you watch that would be...
Let me think. I mean, I mostly watch either scary shows or reality shows.
Right. Yeah, I guess that makes it tricky.
I don't really have like a, drama that, or, a comedy even that I'd want to.
I bet The Good Place
I bet
could
to
really
say
pull
the only
something
comedy
off.
I really watch is The Good Place. So I guess The Good Place.
I bet The Good Place, I bet it's not around anymore, but I bet 30 Rock could have really done something good.
Yeah. Maybe they did. Maybe there was a Halloween episode of 30 Rock.
Is there Halloween Seinfeld? Whenever they did scary stuff, it was great. Like they had the Lopper who's killing people that look like Jerry Seinfeld.
Yes. Well, that Pagliacci episode that we've talked about was kind of a scary episode.
Yep, that was scary.
So
absolutely.
I don't know if there was a specific Halloween episode where
Mr.
they're in
Marbles
costumes or anything. Mr. Marbles
was scary. There were certainly Halloween episodes of Friends.
Yes, definitely.
I was going to cover that, but then it started realizing but it's real world stuff. It doesn't really fall under the...
There are Halloween episodes of a million shows that wouldn't really be like... It's not really that fun to like recap for a supernaturally kind of podcast. So, Grey's Anatomy was a little bit of an outlier.
True. Well, I want more.
Well, me too. I'd be all about it.
I want more. Give me more.
Guys, check out that episode of Treehouse of Horrors if you want to be horrified. It sounds nuts.
Crazy.
And then you can wash that down by following us everywhere on social media. We're at GTTU Pod. We would love it if you guys left us a review on whatever podcast app you use. 5 stars would be awesome. So people can visit those pages and they're like, oh, a lot of people watch or listen to this show. Like, I might listen to it too. So that would rule.
I'll give you another one that I would really appreciate. It seems like a lot of people are enjoying this. If you go to podchaser.com/GTTU pod. We've got a page where you can see, it's almost like the IMDb of podcasts, they call it. So Kristen and I have our credits on there for stuff, and you can review the show there as well. We would really appreciate it. Some people make lists of other shows that they think go well together. Somebody already made a list that Guide to the Unknown is on of like good spooky shows, stuff like that. If you want to support the show, but you don't have an iPhone or something like that, even if you do have an iPhone, podchaser.com/GTTUpod. You might also find some other rad stuff there.
Yeah.
But we'd really appreciate that. And you can even follow us as creators there.
Yeah. I'm only just dipping. I don't know that much about Podchaser yet. I have to like get in there and figure it out.
It's
but
pretty
that's
cool. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I like it. I've been able to like add all the shows and stuff, and I've tried to like curate our accounts in a way.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Oh, cool.
It's fun. I wish there was stuff like trivia or something, but what am I going to write about trivia about our shows? That would be I don't know what, but
Cool.
yeah, podchaser.com/GTTUpod.
All right, sweet. I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
You can also join us at patreon.com/GTTUpod. And if you donate $4 or more per month, you're going to get access to one bonus episode that comes out on the 15th of every month, plus extras that we just throw out there on top of that. And we would also love it if you came to our show in Highland Park, New Jersey at Pino's on Sunday, October 27th. It's almost here for listening to it in real time. So Google Eventbrite Guides the Unknown. It's $10 a ticket, and we'll have a really good time.
It's going to be a really, really fun night.
Yeah, and you can also follow us on social media personally. I am at Chillin' Kristen on Instagram and Twitter.
I am at The Myth Traveler. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We hope that we gave you some good spooky TV show episodes to check out to keep yourself in the horror mood.
Some marching orders.
Hell yeah. We'll be back next week to talk about more spooky things from the entire wide world of creepitude.
Of spooky things.
Spooky things. But until that time, we must travel.
Back to the netherworld. Go. We.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Taylor said, Will started talking about Homer right as I dug into my dinner.
Oh, God, sorry.
Yo,
Blorp.
it was a nightmare.
Sounds crazy.
It was really messed up. It was really messed up.
Man.
Botome. I was right about it. I still think it was Botome. I still think it was Botome.
Yeah, it was definitely Botome.
You had to mute the conversation.
I don't blame you if you're trying to eat. I'm pretty hungry. I got to eat my dinner now.
Yo,
How the hell am I going to put this out of mind?
It was seriously messed up.
Actually, Ryan made a stew. It's a good stew. But it has sausage in it, and the ends of sausage keep reminding me of the toe, the big toe, scary stories.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know.
That's funny. You're being haunted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oops.
KB likes Legends of the Mall from Daria. It's their own version of Urban Legends. I'll have to
cool.
check that out.
Yeah, me too.
I would have loved that. I used to watch the hell out of Daria.
Yeah.
Daria? Duria? Diarrhea?
Yeah, I think it's Daria.
Diarrhea?
Yeah. I get that too.
KB
It's
remembers
scary.
watching Doug on Nickelodeon when Doug and his friends ride on that roller coaster that's supposed to terrify you to death.
Yes, I do remember that there was like a Doug Halloween thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one either.
Roger
Kelly
Poppins,
says,
no good.
I always loved Little House on the Prairie when they thought that Mr. Olsen killed Mrs. Olsen.
Oh.
Laura sees him put a sword into a mannequin, cutting off its head, and she thought it was Mrs. Olsen. Good
Yikes.
God.
Hardcore.
Little House on the Scary.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah. South Park Halloween episodes. You know, one of them almost made the list. Kenny comes back as a zombie, but he's an actual zombie, but they think he's wearing a costume, and he keeps eating people, and they get like lightly annoyed at him.
Yeah.
That is pretty great.
Yeah.
I used to really enjoy. South
I did
Park.
too.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right. Let's see.
Cool.
Oh, I can just tap that.
Yeah.
Great.
Nice.
All right, everybody.
All right, guys.
Thank you all so much for hanging out.
Yeah, thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. Go check out those episodes.
Yeah.
Watch Buffy.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you really did make me want to watch Buffy.
I know,
That
it was
show
great.
was great.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody.
All right,
Have a
guys.
great rest of your night. We'll see you real soon, especially if you're in Highland Park on Sunday.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Like
Have a good
Michelle.
night.
Okay.
Bye-bye.